Bendy and the Ink Machine. Ink Machine. Slinky Machine. Binky Machine? Jar Jar Binks Machine.
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
Bendy and the Ink Machine is the game that we are discussing from the Breadlog today. FredBread is me, and I'm FredBread, and we are synonymous with each other. And that means I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer. I play games. Whoop-de-doo. Woo. I play through these backed or Breadlog games to give you guys an idea on when you should play them. And they come in 3 rankings, with the first ranking being toasted, which means this game is phenomenal. It could probably butter you up, slap you in the ass, and call you brother, and you'd play it.
What?
The next ranking is fresh in the bag, and it's alright. Middle of the road. It's like if you settle down for that guy who's just been texting you because the really rich guy decided to go for somebody else, and you're like, whatever, he seems alright. That's fresh in the bag. And moldy is the worst out of all of them. It's like if Satan decided to come down himself, punished you by letting you live forever, making you do the thing that you hate the most. For me, it's like being sober when everybody else around you is drunk and all you want to do is drink, but you know that you have to drive home, and because you have to drive home, you don't drink. Yet, the keys call to you while you're drunk as a skunk because you decided not to listen to yourself anyway. And now you're driving home, and you decide that, fuck it, I'm gonna have another drink for the road, so you take a roadie, and then you trash the car. That's what it's like having a moldy game, knowing you've done wrong, and you still do it anyway because you hate yourself. So for Bendy and the Ink Machine, this game was purchased in the December sale, along with a couple of other different games, and it added quite a lot to the Breadlog. And for me, I was, again, super dumb, did not look in my Epic Games library, and saw that I already owned this game. So again, that is 2 for idiocy, 0 for FredBread. So we know that that firmly establishes me as an idiot, yet a lover of video games. So the average Discord moderator. The reason that this game was also chosen to be played from the Breadlog is because the last game I played was Little Nightmares, and I found that game to be quite fun, and it's one of the first horror games I've ever played, and I decided to give another one a chance. And this one was pretty popular, seeing that many different YouTubers were giving it a shot, and apparently there was a bunch of different videos made on the story of the game. Speaking of the game, I would say that this is a horror puzzle action game. I guess it's maybe not as unique as I'm making it sound, because I can think of quite a few other horror games that follow the same subgenres of puzzle and action, but it's with a very different feel because it's all very cartoon looking, almost Disney-esque. It's like if Mickey Mouse decided to come to life and murder all the people he worked with because he wasn't cool enough for them, and then decided to take over the place and make all of the other cast members of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse into his bitches. And you play as the guy named Henry, who is, I guess, one of the partners of the man who created the company, Joey. And Joey, after a long time, asked you to come back to visit. This time, when you come back, you see that the studio is completely different from the way that you had it before. The studio is changed and expanded and completely and drastically and utterly creepified into a way that your character, Henry, has no idea what happened to it. He's coming in and he's like, holy crap, I left and everything is changed. It's like when you leave high school or whatever school, or like your college or your middle school, and then all of a sudden the following year they have a new tech wing, or they add in new buildings or desks or parts of or new electronics, and you're like, what the fuck? Right after I left. Always happens. That's just kind of how Henry feels. He's like, damn, all this after I left? And as you're walking around, you stumble upon Bendy, who is the person that you drew with Joey and the other animators, and you're like, holy crap, he's a monster, what the fuck? And then you're running away, trying to make sure that your ass isn't grass, and right as you're about to reach the exit, you fall into this huge hole, and now you have to find a way out. And as you do, you meet a cavalcade of fuck-ups, and they are the different characters that they had created in their universe, who then came to life, but are now all fucked up. And you're like, holy shit, why are all these characters alive, but you're not, because your character's like, yeah, let's look, I know that guy. What the hell? How are you alive? And you have an idea that they came to life through the ink machine that was used after you left. So once you do meet these characters, they either have you do certain things to help themselves, or you use them to help you get out. And along the way, you use a different variety of tools to escape, like a pipe as a weapon, an axe as both a weapon and a tool to knock down wooden boards, and you use different types of ink globs to create different sorts of pieces to the puzzle to, again, finish any sort of activity you are doing. And even at the end of the game, you are given a new tool, and this new tool helps you see hidden messages, but it's only really useful for one section of the game, and for you to get apparently an extra secret chapter, which isn't really a secret, it's more just like, hey, here's more lore we didn't want to throw in the game, but here you go. You're supposed to play with the new tool again, which, if I had to say what it was, it's almost like a TV screen on a stick. So you're like seeing the world through the eyes of the cartoon, but instead of it being more cartoony, you're seeing what these cartoons are writing on walls. It's like graffiti mixed with psych ward people. Psychedi. Griff ward. And you play the game, it'll give you more ideas about the story, which you learn in a couple of different ways, which one of the more unique ways is just through a videotape system. But for me, I'm basically just going through this game blind, as many of you would be, and from what I could gather from the story, it's a guy who is invited back to his old job, and he figures that it's all gone to hell, in inky hell, and on his way out, he got trapped, and he's now trying to figure his way out. And he does that with the help of other characters. And if you were more interested in this lore, because apparently back in whenever this game came out, I'm actually not too certain. I don't really look at when most of these games come out. I just figure out that looks cool, that's cool, and I just play them, or whatever I'm feeling that day. It's not really what year it came out on, like, that focuses on. That doesn't seem like something I care about. And a lot of YouTubers during when this game came out figured that this was a pretty deep story and have created a lot of YouTube videos on the story and what these different characters from the videotapes and the ones that you meet in game, what their backstories are, how your main character factors into everything. And I think it's pretty unique. I think games that do have this are very popular, and I think a lot of people find them to be entertaining. So some of the parts of the game that I think that have aged quite well are the puzzles, the cast of characters, and the extra lore creativity. So starting off with the puzzles, all of them are different, and with each chapter of the game, the puzzles get a little bit more complex. And because of that, it keeps you on your toes, makes you constantly think of what you need to do next, and there are no real parts where you're constantly reusing the same systems over and over again. There are a couple times where you do things a couple of times, but it's not repeated over and over and over again that you're like, okay, I can figure out this puzzle, or this puzzle was easy in the beginning of the game, and now at the end you're like scratching your head and your balls because you don't know what you're doing anymore. And I think that's good because that unique creativity makes sure that anybody who's playing this game continues to play it, wants to learn and see the new puzzles, and when you figure them out, you feel good about it. You're very excited that you're able to get it, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't have to look up a tutorial. Like, it feels good to be able to do that. And the cast of characters was also a great part of the game as well, because these are all based on the animated characters that Henry and Joey had created when they first started their company. And while they do resemble and act like how they were in their universe, they also take on their own kind of complexity. There are different versions of different characters, and each of them has a unique way of acting, feeling, and you see this, and you kind of put the pieces together on how they got to this point, which is awesome, because I think world building that takes both part of your own imagination and the video games really keeps the player base going and keeps them thinking even after they're done with the game. Which continues on with the extra lore. I mean, a bunch of the game's extra lore comes from all of the different surroundings of the map or the level you're on. Basically, like, you go to these different tape recordings and you can listen to whoever was in charge or was important into that part of the making of the different animated characters, and you figure out what their concerns are, and you see how these concerns kind of lead into what makes them different when you do see them in the game. And I think that's great. I don't think you have to like randomly go searching, because a lot of them are straightforward and right in front of you. A couple of them you do have to search for, and I think that by not making it forced onto the player to listen, but having it so that it's there if they need it, I think is a great way to give lore to those who do want it, and those who kind of care about it, you know, would like to hear it sometimes. But then this kind of goes into what didn't really work out so well, and I think that can be seen as the motion blur, the final boss, and the jump scares. And the motion blur of the game is god awful. I have severe motion sickness, and I couldn't play this game too long for too many sessions. And thank God this game was short, because I probably got motion sick and thrown up all over my keyboard. It would have been a damn mess, and I would have given this game the worst rating known to all man. And yes, you can tell me that I can change that in the settings, but that's not how the game's supposed to be played. If that's just the natural settings, that's the natural settings. I'm not gonna change it. So this game, the way that it's supposed to be played, is motion sickness inducing game for the worst people. And I was having trouble with it. I could almost throw up. So the worst. I'm looking around and I'm like, yeah, that's it. I feel it. The upchuck is coming. My world is spinning. It spins me right round, oh baby right round, I don't know how that song goes, and thank God, because I could get copyrighted. So even with the second game, I don't know if I'm gonna play it, because if it's any longer than this one and it has that motion blur kind of shit, I'm not doing it. Your host FredBread will not do it. That Breadlog game is never coming out. It will never be eaten. I will never eat it. You can't force me to eat it. I'm gonna cry now. Anyway, the next thing that was just god awful and made me want to rip my own eyeballs out was the final boss. Oh, it's probably the worst final boss I've ever played in any game ever. It's like you sat on a thumbtack in the middle of a crowd. No. It's like if you shat yourself and you decided to not change yourself. It's like, yes, you actively knew you had to take a shit, didn't get up, shat yourself, and then left it like that for the whole day. That's what that final boss fight felt like. Bendy is the coolest like villain. He is the main person of this game, but that final boss battle made me feel that way. I couldn't do it. Not only was I lagging the whole time, which is because of my CPU, and I am trying to change that, but that's besides the point. But anytime you get hit by him, it's a one shot, one kill, and the respawn time is like 5 seconds. Because it's not just loading screen, you have to walk through this tunnel to the bright light that God is calling you to because you're doing this boss battle. He's like, my son, you can kill yourself now. And then when you walk through the bright light, God just gives you the fucking middle finger and says, fuck you, you're going back to that boss fight. That's what that's like. And you do it again. And then he hits you again. And then you respawn. And then God gives you the finger again. And then you do it again. And then it happens one more time. And then God's like, maybe you'll do it this time. He's like waving a fucking, dollar in front of your face. It's like that fucking ad from, that one insurance commercial where the guy has the fishing pole, and on that fishing pole is $1, and then he's like, the guy was like dangling it, and he's like, ooh, they almost got it, and then they try to grab it again, and then he yanks it away, and he's like, ooh, you gotta be quicker than that. And that's what it feels like, and I can't do it. Okay, it took me like 10 tries, and fuck it, it's the worst. And then through sheer dumb fucking luck, I did it. And I got to the end, and it was okay. The end was all right, but that boss fight I wanted to pull my teeth out and then proceed to try to use my gums to eat those teeth. So yeah, that boss fight, pretty bad, especially with that motion blur. The fucking cherry on top of that little cake right there. I was gonna throw up and kill myself at the same time, while also being completely smelly because I pooped myself. Let's move on. The jump scares. I always think that my last opinion about what things didn't age well is probably the most controversial, and I'll take this one to my grave if you guys think it's that bad. But the jump scares, not that good. It does get me a couple times at the beginning, but not that good anymore. I mean, Bendy shows up a couple times. I'm scared, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I got this. I can hide in a little hidey hole, and then he goes away. And after a couple times, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not really that scary. It just gets me with loud noise, and I didn't really pay attention too well. And I don't know, I think jump scares work to a certain extent, but you need to have it so that it's not the same thing over and over again. It needs to be different. It needs to have variety. It needs to make sure that when I see it, I'm gonna run away screaming like a 5-year-old child who just was told that the tooth fairy isn't real, and now I don't get any money under my pillow anymore. And not, oh, you got a broken arm to like a 15-year-old boy, and then the coach tells you to walk it off kind of thing. Those things don't make sense, but you get it. It's just, I wouldn't need variety like that. I mean, in this day and age, variety is key. People have the attention span of a goddamn goldfish, and if you can't keep my attention span with a jump scare, then why the hell am I gonna get afraid? I'll be like, ooh, scary. Ooh, ooh. Like, ooh, scary. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, that's enough now. Let's move on. Let's get this game over with. I want to eat some food because it's late and I'm hungry. Okay, so this game took me around 4.5 hours to beat, which I think is one of those like smaller timed games, which is not bad. And that was me actively looking for any sort of secrets. I think if I was to just speed run this game, I probably would have been done in like 4 hours minimum, 3 hours 45 max. And I did it in 3 sessions. But again, as if you guys have been following my journey, I like to fuck up. It's just who I am. I like to make sure that I make my job harder only for me. Maybe people call me a masochist. I don't know. Maybe I like to hurt myself. I don't know. Maybe I should get some help. I don't know. Anyway, I fucked up. So I only have the 2 sessions recorded. So you guys get to see the later 2 sessions, even though the first session was the one where I was screaming a lot, and I think that would have been cool to show. But yeah, you guys get the last 2. Yeah. And finally, the Breadlog games are usually ranked in 3 different iterations. So as I said before, we have Toasted, which is great. Play them now. Get out of this video. You've already watched almost to the end. I appreciate you being here, but you can go play it now. The second one is Fresh in the Bag, meaning stay here. I love you all, and if you stayed here, it means you have a special place in my heart. And the last is Moldy, means we're ride or die. If you're here with me still after this point, and we're ride or die, and I'm dying right now, so you're coming, I guess. I don't know. And while these ratings are usually given to those who have these games in their Breadlog, it also can be applied to those who are thinking of purchasing it for their own Breadlog themselves. So for Bendy and the Ink Machine, I am giving it a fresh in the bag rating. I would say it's like a piece of white bread in the bag. I mean, it's pretty generic. I mean, the story is unique, and it tastes, that's like the tasty part of the white bread, but like, is it good enough to be toasted right away? Like, do we really need to eat it right away? I don't think so. It could wait a little bit, because the puzzles are great, the characters really make it, but the motion blur and the horrific boss fights make me actually want to jump off a cliff. I think you can play it after a couple games. It's all right. I think, like I said, there's good characters, good story, good puzzle, but the motion blur, horrific boss battles, just terrible. And it's actively making me never want to play a video game ever again. And if this video helped you decide on whether or not to play this game from your Breadlog or to put in your Breadlog for later, please comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot, and it lets me know that you guys really enjoyed this, and lets me know that what I put myself through is worth it for you all, because sometimes I really do think that this pain is not temporary. Can't wait to eat with you all later in the next Breadlog video. And again, here are some crumbs from trying to record this voiceover. I don't really know how to For me, that's my taxes. No, not my taxes. Working with a bunch of people that I don't like. Nope. Fuck, I just said my name. And now Mrs. FredBread is destroying our dog's life. This is the most unhinged I've ever been. What the fuck? I don't even know what to say anymore. And I think anybody else too would want to join me. You know, when your parents are like, hey, if your friends are gonna jump off a bridge, are you gonna do the same? That is this instance. We are doing it. We're ride or dying this bitch, okay? We're jumping off a cliff. That sounds terrible. I sound like I'm trying to make you guys self-harm with me. We are not gonna do that. This might not even make it in the video. Okay. Anyway, I don't even know where to begin that again. It's okay. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing anymore in terms of this dialogue.